artist, I wanted to demonstrate how you take your design from concept to plate to carving. So this is a demonstration I normally do in class. And I'm going to rub graphite on the back of my sketch, going in one direction and then another so I can get a clean transfer. And you want to tape the design down so you can trace without it slipping all over the place. And then I usually use a ballpoint pen because I can apply firm pressure and get clean lines. And you can indicate broad areas of value by just tonal shapes. And you can make little hatched lines to indicate areas of shadow. And you can see my design has transferred, but it is in graphite, so it'll smudge. So I have to go over my transfer with the Sharpie that comes in the kit. And the Sharpie has two sides, a thin line and a heavy line side. And I use the heavy one to make fat lines and also to just block in big areas so that I know more or less what my image is going to look like once it is inked up. And you just keep adding details as you need them or as you want them. It's all up to you and the design that you come up with. My initial design did not have nearly as much detail as I'm putting in here, but I wanted to add more movement in my light areas, and so I'm making my lines follow different curves. When it's time to carve, I unpack my handle and the blades. Now, I want to warn you, this is not a precision instrument. The blades do not slip into the handle very easily, but it does have this nifty little hollow handle so you can keep your blades. And what we're going to do is we're going to slip the written side of each blade into the handle. And you insert the blade and then tighten it. Sometimes it gets stuck. Very often it gets stuck, and then you just try to take it off. If it doesn't come off, pull it away or stamp it on top of your table until it does. You didn't break it. Do you see that I'm putting the little round ball together, and then you can just pop it back into your handle. There's 5 different blades. The smallest blade will make the thinnest line. Don't try to go too deep because it just like bulges. Instead, you can go in at maybe like a 30-degree angle or 25-degree angle. You can use 2 hands to guide the blade towards your chi. That's the Japanese technique, or hold the plate with one hand and carve away from your body with the other, and that's the European technique. Now this plate is a rubber instead of linoleum. That makes it easier to print, but your cuts do not come off cleanly sometimes, so you just have to flick it off. And you want to change the blades to make different kinds of cuts on your plate. Don't try to cut a big area with a little blade. You'll be frustrated. Change to a bigger blade, as I did here. So use the really fine line one to make little skinny lines, or to cut on either side of a thin line. Use the deep V to make heavier lines. Use the small medium U to carve out in between shapes like this, and then use the big U gauge or blade to cut wide areas. You don't need to cut this to be completely flat because the ink will stay on the raised surfaces. You just do need to get rid of any little ridges that you don't want to print. So you just keep switching back and forth with your blades until you're done, and then use an old toothbrush or a bristle brush to clean off the surface of your plate. There's little bits of debris that get stuck, and you'll also be able to see any bits of the rubber plate that have not come off this way. And then clean up your debris because it will find its way to the ink otherwise. Don't leave a speck of this or it will show up. Then just clean the surface of your soap to get rid of any excess graphite or marker. Any household cleaner, no bleach of course, but a little soap and water will do just fine.